Good afternoon to you, our colleagues out there. Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk on PAP TV. And today we are very privileged to have in our midst Honorable Senator Danson
Mungatana.
Yes. And today we are going to discuss a very important topic, the involvement of the Pan-African Parliament in the AUC election processes. Honorable, so during this particular meeting, the discussion has started to get the Pan-African Parliament involved in the processes leading to the election of the AUC chairperson.
Yes.
Various views has been given on that call. Can you share your thoughts with us?
First of all, I want to thank you for having me in your TV. And thank you for the audience who are listening to us as we have this discussion. Now, the day before yesterday, I made this proposal on the plenary that it would be important for those candidates who are vying for the position of the AUC chairman, the African Union Commission chair, to present themselves before the Pan-African Parliament so that we can hear their vision and their ideas about what they intend to do with the mandate that we will give them, the African Union Commission. Now, those who may not be aware, you should know that initially, the African Union used to be the Organization of African States, the OAU, Organization of African Union. And African governments wanted to come together. Initially, it was about the struggle for independence. But then issues to do with economy and developmental issues took over, and it became necessary for us now to focus more on the economy and issues surrounding that. And it led to the creation of the African Union, which has a different, or let me say, improved mandate from the OAU. Now, in the OAU, we used to have the Secretary General of the OAU. Those who remember Salim A. Salim in Tanzania, who held that position for some time. The Secretary General was the engine that would move the OAU in those days. So there were the heads of states, the summit which was up there, but the heads of state would serve maybe for a year. And then they would shift. The next head of state comes over like that. So the secretariat was headed by the executive, was the Secretary General of the OAU. Now, in the African Union, that position was renamed the African Union Commission Chair. And that is the executive, that is the engine that runs the African Union. So it's a very important position. And the problem of important positions not being subjected to elections is that people don't connect with them. And equally, those people who are in those positions, they don't connect with the masses. So my proposal is that we make a first attempt. Instead of it being a situation where they lobby the presidents for them to be voted in a secret ballot, people we don't know, people who have never spoken to the citizens of Africa, and you're going to occupy the most important executive position. It is better for them to come and speak to the people of Africa through their representatives. Pan-African Parliament is made of 5 members who are elected members from their countries. And when they come here, they are coming on behalf of the people. So effectively, when you address us, it's in a way addressing the entire Africa because the 54 states are supposed to be members here. I am senator elected in Kenya, and I'm head of the delegation of the 5 of us.
Yeah.
And we balance between opposition, we balance the issue of gender. So it's a very good representation of what the delegations, and this is repeated in all delegations. And this gives a very good forum, a presentation of the entire Africa.
Yeah.
We have members who have seen here who are, disabled or living with disabilities. We have the females, we have males, we have professors, and all these other people are here. Muslim, Christians, people who believe in African tradition. The entire spectrum is covered here. I am a lawyer by profession, and there are doctors here. There are people who are in business. There are people who, the entire spectrum of Africa is covered here. So if the candidates can come in and give their vision, they will be talking to Africa, and we will start feeling we will start connecting with what it is that if we elect this candidate or whoever candidate comes in, what it is that he's going to do for Africa for the term that is going to be there.
Yeah.
Now, this is not official because the traditional method has been quiet lobbying, quiet lobbying, and then you hear, oh, so and so is a new chairperson of AUC. Now that person becomes a big man. You know what I mean? Because he's not beholden to anyone. He knows all I did was for my country or myself. I talked to presidents. Those presidents don't have time for anything. They make decisions when they sit in their summit. And once they have made those decisions, they expect me to execute them. Nobody follows me.
Yeah.
So I'm the boss. And then he has nobody to account to. So whatever he does, currently it is Musa Faki. Whatever he does, he is not beholden, responsible to anybody. Okay. And because his electorate is who the president. But if we had these candidates coming to speak to the people of Africa through their representatives, then surely when they are seated there, they will know PAP is watching. The people of Africa are watching. They're expecting results. Whatever they are doing in their offices should be translated to something tangible for the people of Africa. And whatever resolutions we pass here should also be executed by him when he's seated there. He shouldn't feel that he is merely a secretary for the presidents, but he should know that he's serving the people of Africa. And people like us who have been elected, I've been elected several times in my country. People like us who are elected, we are always aware that we must do something on behalf of those who elected us. You have that thing on the back of your mind all the time. The decisions you make, the things you do, you always ask yourself, as senator from Tana River, the Republic of Kenya, what I'm doing, is it benefiting my people back in the countryside? You know? Now, if you don't have that, you become a technocrat. You are no different from, in Kenya, we have what we call cabinet secretaries. Cabinet secretaries are like ministers in other countries, except they don't have any power. They don't have election power. They are ministers who are not elected. These are people, the president in Kenya, once the constitution was changed, he is elected, then he chooses 22 people who help him. He says, you are in treasury, you are in defense, you are in internal security, you are in agriculture. Then he brings these people for approval, just like in the United States, before the representative of the people in the National Assembly. And then they are approved or rejected. And once they are approved, they become now ministers, what other countries call ministers. We call cabinet secretaries. So, but a cabinet secretary is not, he does not have the mandate of the people. It's very different from a minister because he is beholden to the president. He is not beholden to the people. Yeah. And he can make decisions, very technical decisions in his office. He doesn't need to explain to anyone. Yeah. Only maybe if he's called by parliament to go and explain. So we don't want another AUC chair who feels that his only duty is to explain to the president. We must have an AUC chair who feels that his duty first and foremost is to the people of Africa. And the people of Africa are represented by elected members of parliament, 5 from each of the parliaments across the continent of Africa. Okay. So for me, I think it's a new thing, but it is a good thing. I have argued, and this has found favor in the plenary, that the African Parliament does not need permission from anybody to call anybody to come and speak to us.
Yeah.
They can use their powers, like the way we call experts to come and tell us things about climate change, things about currency and so on. The way we sit in committees, like today, we made a decision that we will summon some banks because I'm in the Finance and Monetary Policy Committee. Yeah. Now, Monetary Affairs Committees. We have made decision to call some bank managers to come and explain some things to do with the finances of the Pan-African Parliament. So in the same manner, Pan-African Parliament Bureau, the presidency, they can ask anybody to come, and give us information, explanation, or whatever, so we can organize. And you see, this will be the only opportunity for us to hear the vision of the 4 candidates. This is quite lobbying. We don't know what they stand for. We just hear, oh, this one is ahead, oh, the other one is ahead, but we don't know what they stand for. Yeah. We don't know their backgrounds. We don't know. We just know, oh, this one is coming from Kenya, this one is coming from which country, and so on. But we don't know them. We don't know whether they are leaning to the west, or whether they are not aligned. Where will they take African Union? So we need to feel the people who are going to sit in those positions. That is my argument, and I think it will be a very good development going forward. I personally think that aside from Pan-African Parliament, maybe in future, going forward, maybe one of those, there should be also a sitting where even the presidents of Africa can listen to these candidates. Because this thing of quiet lobbying is not good. When things are done in the dark rooms and whatever, it's not good, because you can get anything, because when he goes to this, he promises this one promises that, and then maybe what is agreed in the dark rooms, when he's finally come out, we are shocked. How did this man come into this position, or this woman, how did she get to this position? So I think this issue of saying there's vetting of the candidates before they are approved, it is not enough. Yeah, even in our countries, we have people who are vetted by the election bureau, but they come to the elected in parliament and they never say a word in 5 years. Yeah, they are never seen, and then they stay, and then they finish, they go away. They don't care, because maybe their only purpose was to be called honorable MP or honorable senator. And then once they have achieved that, to hell with the constituents. So we can have vetting of these people, and then, oh, this was a former minister, oh, this was a former president, this was a former what. And then the fellow comes in, he's just, or she's just elected, and he stays 5 years and he goes away, and we never hear what he did, what he didn't do, So let us have somebody who actually has passion for Africa, who actually can speak to the issues of Africa, who is, is in grips with the issues of Africa, and who can tell us that this is where he wants to do in infrastructure, in communication, in agriculture, in banking and monetary policy. This is what he wants Africa to look like. Not somebody who is still beholden to local or state kind of things. You throw him there, and then you waste the whole first year taking him through initiation, because his mindset even is not Pan-African. His mindset is, oh, I'm coming there so that my country can have advantage,
Yeah.
And this will only come out if these people are put to discuss and to talk about how they really feel about Africa.
Yeah, but Honorable, if you look at the AUC processes, the election processes, there is a part where the candidates get to address Africans via a televised address to Africans.
Yes.
Is it not the same as what you are calling for, or there is a difference?
It's different because when I'm sitting here talking to the air, there's no audience. It's very different from when I'm sitting and everybody is looking at me and they are talking to me and they can ask questions from where I have what I've said. Technology is good, but it can only do justice so far. That's why even in electioneering, you don't say that I'm going to have a meeting via Skype or via what. You actually go to the villages, sit with these people, because how many Africans actually will be listening to that discussion? Yeah. It is just the elite and a few people. But then here, you can say you have gone a step further. You've gone a step further by meeting the representatives of those Africans and speaking to them about your vision. I think it is an improvement of what will happen. And that process should not be in exclusion to what we are urging, we want as PAP to do.
Yeah.
PAP should have its own ideas and do its own thing. This one is okay in addition, but I guarantee you the day that live discussion and debate will be held here in our parliament, in the plenary, that's the day all Africans will be tuned in, because we will also hype it in our various countries. Come on, look, there's this, and then come and look at these people who will be leading the continent of Africa. And then if you say it is the internet, or we'll be doing internet could even have ghost attendees, ghost cheer. I mean, let me give you an example in Kenya. The other presidential campaign, there was a candidate who was very popular on the internet, or so he thought. So he said he had 6 million followers, and he called for a meeting. In that meeting, he was so embarrassed he could not even, and that was the beginning of the end for his campaign, because his campaign then went down, and people started saying, "Oh, those are just fake people, fake accounts. They don't exist." So let us agree that at least when you are facing people, it is better than when you are just talking to the internet, to the television camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have one last question before we wrap up this interview. Your proposal goes beyond just these candidates coming to address the members of parliament or the Pan-African Parliament, but you notice that it also touches on the structure, the process that is used to do the election. So are you suggesting that in future, maybe this proposal may not happen in this election, but are you suggesting that in future, the actual election of these candidates should not be by the head of state, but by the PAP MPs?
Let me ask you, in which country does the executive choose the next executive? It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
But there are many countries where parliament chooses the head of the executive.
Yeah.
So, in fact, heads of states to sit down to choose amongst themselves somebody to run the executive for them, strictly speaking, is not correct procedure. What we should do is to have parliament choose somebody who can then be the AC chairman. So for me, I'm calling for a reform, even in the manner in which we select these candidates. It should be removed from the heads of states. It should be something that is done by parliament, because the heads of states, that's a summit. And then there's a parliament. Now the parliament can choose one person. In fact, the list, all those candidates who apply, they can apply, and maybe there's a shortlisting there or a vetting, and then those people are brought back to the parliament here, so that there's voting here on behalf of the people of Africa. And the vetting should be such that the presidents and the summit should be comfortable with any of the people who are chosen, and then they are brought here. Then we choose, and they become the AUC chair. I think for me that would be a very nice way of doing things. And then we use the same rotational principle, that if it is East Africa this time, next it's North, next the other time is West, the other time is Central, the other is Southern. You know, we rotate it the way we have rotated it. Except now we widen the base. Instead of heads of states voting, it is the representatives of the people who are voting. I think that would be a very good improvement.
Let me play a devil's advocate here, and sorry about that.
Yeah.
Someone will argue that if the PAP cannot handle its own affairs when it's come to even their own elections and other matters, how are they ready to handle matters with regard to the AUC?
No, you see, I always argue that when we are talking about water problems, don't come and tell me, no, your people are so uneducated that they don't need water. Because those are two separate issues, and they're both important. But if we are talking about water, let us solve the issues of water. And the day we sit about education, let us solve the issues of education. PAP has had its challenges. We've come from a difficult time, and we have managed to bring some sanity into PAP, and now the rotational principle has been accepted. Discipline has gone back. People are now behaving like a proper parliament. You know, the stories we used to hear even before I came here, the people even coming with a gun into the session and threaten other people. Those days are gone. But the issue about handling elections within PAP is a separate issue from handling the elections of the AUC. So if we are going to improve the systems of AUC, let us discuss that and let us improve the systems. If you're going to improve the systems of elections in PAP, which I think recently they have done that, then let us discuss that. But we can't say because there was maybe because ballots were not brought to the election of PAP, then PAP is not competent to choose. You know, it could be some small hiccup. That maybe the notice was not given, somebody went to court and did this, so therefore we can't elect other people. No. My mandate as an elected senator for the next 5 years doesn't go away because I failed to turn up for a meeting. So the mandate of these elected members of parliament in PAP is such that it is still there, and they can still elect someone in the AUC, irrespective of the fact that we've had challenges as ourselves here in handling elections in the past. So those are two separate issues, and they shouldn't really be looked at together.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable, for gracing this occasion and granting us this interview. So, colleagues, you heard us interview Senator Mungatana, leader of delegation of the leader of the Kenyan delegation to the Pan-African Parliament. And stay tuned for our next edition. So it's bye from here.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
God bless.